And we are live.
And we are live. And we are live. Did we hit our music?
Are you ready for the music?
The music.
Hit my theme song. I love when I do this and I look like I have a neck.
This is the Charlie.
I just look like I'm on top of Dirty Jeff's head right now.
Isn't that where you want to be, Charlie?
Right on top of Dirty Jeff's head. Yes. There's one dream vacation I have, and it's within the borough of Dirty Jeff's afro.
Is his afro dirty too?
Well, he cut it off, but it was. It definitely was. I do love that we just talk through our intro now. Like, we don't even care that the music's playing. We just pose and talk. I love that that's become a thing for us. Like,
I don't even know who did this song anyway. Awesome.
I do.
That guy.
I know who did that song.
Our aunt.
I made that song.
You did make that song. Woo! All right, welcome everyone to Burritos and Bodyslams. We are finally here. We have finally stopped the road, and we are here at BurritoMania, baby.
Our Uber share ride has arrived.
The Uber share ride to BurritoMania. That's probably that's going to be like my swan song within wrestling, is naming that episode. It's going to be the funniest thing I ever write.
It's going to be on Charlie's tombstone.
And it really is.
And he came up with this.
The Uber share ride to BurritoMania.
He came up with the title to one episode of a YouTube show that airs monthly. Congratulations.
Monthly-ish.
Monthly-ish. Well, welcome everyone. We are here, BurritoMania. We are past WrestleMania. We are heading on to new things. We've got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that we're excited to share with you. But we are mainly going to be focusing on WrestleMania and the things that we've seen since. But my name is Charlie Eccles. I am a professional wrestling commentator again. I have officially made my way back. I am now 3 shows in post-pandemic, and I'm very excited. Look for me. Look for me on Twitter and Instagram at WrestlingVoice1. As always, are the 2 gentlemen who started this show along with me, Mr. Casey Kelderman from Backlot 605.
I'm glad to be a guest on your show, Charlie. Thank you for having us on today.
Oh, you're welcome. And then also joined with us, creeping in slowly to episode 100 of his show, Mr. Andy Heller from Fat Dude Digs Flicks.
Give me that and credit. And
our guest today, Andy Heller. Our 5-time guest, Andy Heller.
We should get a Full House style intro. And Andy gets the and at the end.
That's right. Every time.
He's our Kimmy Gibbler.
But I want it to be like almost like the cam comes in, but it's on Andy's back, and then it slowly comes up, and then he turns around. Yeah,
here it is,
exactly.
Here it is.
Oh, he looks just like John Stamos.
Better than John Stamos, if I do say so.
Welcome to Burritos and Bodyslams, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our monthly-ish show where we talk about food, wrestling, and life. And how the hell are you 2 doing post-WrestleMania? I want to start with Andy, because Andy was unable to join us, but I know that you got to catch some wrestling during that weekend, so I want to hear from you.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of wrestling. Listen, here's the thing. So I'm gonna just be honest and upfront right away. Having WrestleMania and Oscar season collide at the same time, absolutely the worst possible thing for me to deal with, because you have to rank your priorities, and sadly, participating on a wrestling podcast. Sadly, that did not take tier 1. Look, I watched
Andy just turned heel on his own show.
I know. That's it. Full on heel.
This is why you get the credit.
That's right. I'm eventually I'm gonna transition into featuring Andy Heller instead of and. I'll be that special little bonus guest.
Special guest, Andy.
Nope.
Yeah.
Andy, even if you don't watch any wrestling, I want that perspective from you.
I'll
you're
just
permanently on this forever.
I'll just sit and be like, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds pretty cool. I watched a few of the matches that really mattered to me, like my interest, people that I focus on. I still think I probably missed out on a bunch of the really good ones. So listening to you guys talk tonight, I know that I'll go back and try and catch some things. But for the shit show that was 2020, I think WrestleMania was pretty successful in kind of the I guess aura around wrestling during WrestleMania week was pretty good. As a big time movie buff, I would say that the WrestleMania week was a hell of a lot more successful than Oscar week. So
yes, I want to talk to you guys about this, maybe on your shows, maybe just here tonight, but I finally saw Promising Young Woman, and the fact that got beat out by, and I liked Nomadland, but the fact that Promising Young Woman didn't walk away with that Oscar, I think is a travesty. But
I'm happy it got its one. I was only expecting one in some category that it was nominated in. Yeah, it got the one. That's out of all the Oscar movies this year, that was like my only dog in the fight.
Yeah,
like I didn't have my Shape of Water or Get Out or anything else from a few years ago. That was sort of my like, all right, come on, you can do it, movie.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
come on. Write that script. You can do it.
Yeah. The Oscars ended with the amount of oomph that the Kenny Omega and Dean Ambrose John Moxley match did.
Probably less. Probably
with a fizzle.
Yep. It was the safe bet the whole way.
What was the name of that match? What was the little in a such and such match? What was it called?
The barbed wire death match.
Yeah. Exploding barbed wire.
Exploding barbed wire death match.
Yeah, moving Best Actor to the end of the Oscars this year turned out to be the exploding barbed wire death match of the Oscars. Good God, what a wet fart of a ending.
That's what happened? I didn't watch the Oscars. You guys know, I made a joke about how I should watch more movies and watch less wrestling.
Since I know that our wrestling and Mexican food audience is super concerned about what happened at the 2020 Oscars, let me illuminate this for you. So typically, the Oscars end with the unveiling of the Best Picture of the year. However, this year, the producing team behind the Oscars decided not to do that. They decided to forego that and end with the Best Actress and Best Actor. The reasoning behind this, from probably the rationale of the people who have been watching and following award season, is that Chadwick Boseman, the late Chadwick Boseman, who played Black Panther and was in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom with a fantastic performance, just knocked it out of the park. He had been winning all of the other awards throughout this award season, except for the BAFTAs, the British version of the Oscars. And I think they took a chance and were like, okay, well, if we can end the show with this, he'll win the Oscar. We'll be able to have a really sweet a tribute to Chadwick Boseman and how wonderful he was and how he was taken far too soon. Let's plan on that. We learned very, very quickly that the producers of these award shows do not know the winners in advance, because not only did Chadwick Boseman not win, Anthony Hopkins did, who was in England asleep because they would not allow him to attend the Oscars over Zoom because they thought it would make the Oscars look bad. So it ended with Joaquin Phoenix saying, and the Academy accepts this award on his behalf. Throw it to Questlove, and Questlove's like, "Good night." Yeah. It was the
exploding barbed wire death match of Oscar endings. Yeah.
Pretty much the best way an
Oscars would have come out and tried to cover Joaquin. Or if he would have covered just the Oscar itself and then pretended he died and then come out the next week and just be like, "I'm sorry."
But I mean, honestly, it's on brand for 2020 to have the Oscars end like that. Like, it was just,
it's true.
Yeah. So true. Now it's taking a little bit of time off before kicking into award season again next year. Yay. Why do I do this to myself?
I did enjoy you and Jameson's episode on your favorites, by the way. So go check that out, everyone. Mm-hmm. If you haven't listened, Fat Dude Digs Flicks, I really enjoyed that episode. But next, we have not heard from Casey Kelderman. How are you doing since WrestleMania? I know every time.
I'm doing good. WrestleMania was a blast. Like we've talked about, like I'm just getting back into wrestling after being out of it for almost 2 years. And so this was, I didn't know a whole lot of the storylines. I was catching in from like Royal Rumble, Chamber. What was the other one? Fastlane. That's right. They have two between the frickin' Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Yeah, too many.
Carpool lane or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Uber share ride lane.
The Uber share ride lane, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
the
Mania
HOV lane.
Mania was a blast. Like I wasn't expecting a whole lot going in because last year's Mania I've watched subsequently, and that show is weird. I will probably never watch that WrestleMania again. It's just too weird, of an empty arena, Gronk and his friend Fired Mojo, hanging out.
He's probably got a real name now.
He probably does have a real name. We can't ever get our Mojo tag team either.
I know.
Maybe he'll be Jomo. Yeah,
he could be Jomo.
Or Mojo. Endeavor Jomo.
Yeah, he's gonna call himself Jomo Rollins.
Jomo Rawlings. But WrestleMania was like when I watched it at your house, Charlie. We watched both nights there, and I mean, talk about like wet farts of an opening. Like, it starts during a rain out. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the opening match there for a second. I was like, I don't agree with you on this. Where are we going?
Not the opening match. Well, we'll talk about it. But like the rain out, the anticipation of like, oh, we still have to wait another 30 minutes before we can watch wrestling with fans again. Come on. But
I know. It was so on par with 2020, though.
It was. That was the only way it should have opened. But it was cool to see everybody giving actual real promos during this. Yeah, like, it was really cool. Yeah. I think everybody was firing on all cylinders.
You know who nails it, and it's not a surprise at all. Like Kevin Owens,
yes, every time,
friggin' man,
every time.
Yep.
Every time.
You got to talk about his match with Sami.
Oh yeah. I want to talk about the whole card if we can, but I fucking loved that promo at the beginning. You know, every single time that man has an open microphone, it's like he has that Mick Foley quality. It's genuine. Like, he comes out as like, this is me. This is how I'm actually feeling. It doesn't feel like it's dialed up to 11, but you know it is. That promo right at the beginning was, I think, one of the best promos he's ever cut.
Here's the crazy thing. Who would imagine
in WWE
that your professional wrestlers know how to talk on a microphone and cut a promo in character while building the storyline? Isn't that crazy?
It's a crazy thought.
Crazy concept. It's a wonder why they have writers at all. But yeah. Well, that was my thoughts on the opening and stuff. But I thought WrestleMania was an absolute blast this year, and we can talk about certain matches I didn't care for, but 95% of Mania was stellar. Loved it.
Yes, I thought so too. I also loved the New Day promo during that time when you know that they're just
Big E just makes me
Big
laugh.
E just like pops in.
Big E just makes me laugh appearing on screen.
I'm gonna get up in here. Oh, that was amazing. Andy, I know it sounds like you got to watch the opening with the rain delay and everything like that, though.
Yeah, I watched part of it. I think I feel like I missed some things about it, but I fast forwarded to make sure that I got to watch Kevin Owens' bit. But yeah, I listen. You've got people that when they make it to this level, like they're now at WrestleMania for the most part. When they make it to this level, the company has put their faith in them. They have earned their spot again for the most part. They have earned their spot. Give them the opportunity to live their character. Like let that come out. Don't over script everything. Don't make it so they have to, they're trying to really shoehorn all of these elements into the storyline. Give them the bullet points, let them go, because there are people on this roster that are so talented behind the microphone, and I feel like scripting is really what holds them back. I think that's proven in what is probably the best heel turn that I have seen in a long time, coming from the head of the table. Giving him the opportunity to just be himself and let him live this character. Gold. Yeah. So I think it was great that they went that route to kind of do the old school promos while they were dealing with this rain delay.
I wish that, I know it wasn't produced this way, but it almost reminded me of the old Royal Rumble promos. Andy probably remembers these, where you hear like the music, like that, and then they like cut to somebody like, "I'm gonna win the Royal Rumble because I'm Barry Horowitz."
Oh, and, those are the best.
Those were the best, and they would cut. Exactly. And they were so good, but it was like they only used the top guys, the guys that they knew that they could rely on with that. And I think we're going to talk more about Roman later here, because I think this was like the cherry on top of his overall turn since last summer. But I think I kind of want to talk about the entire card. But before we talk about that, I want to strongly recommend to you guys that you watch the A&E specials that have been going on, the WWE treasure hunts and the documentaries that they're putting out, because they've only got the two. They've got the Steve Austin and the Roddy Piper one right now. I watched both of them today. I had today off of work, and they were both excellent.
They're on Hulu. You said you watched them, right?
They're on Hulu Live. Hulu Live. It's A&E. So otherwise, you got to wait for a while. If you have cable, I think they're tough to find. That's the thing, but they are excellent. Andy, you look like you're about to say something or poop.
No, I'm just like, yeah. I might have to poop. Let's just be honest. No, it's that when you have something and then you're like, you know what? Do I really need this? And you get rid of it, and then all of a sudden after you get rid of it, then it's like, hey, by the way, guess what we've got now? That's me and Hulu in general, but Hulu Live especially, where it's like, oh yeah, now there's stuff I'd like to watch on regular TV. Thanks, television.
Yeah, gosh, I'm looking forward to this whole series after this.
Not to go on a whole tangent. What is Hulu Live? Is it you have a cable subscription with it?
No, it's just more expensive. I think it's like $45 a month.
It's more expensive and you don't get anything. No, it's you get like I don't know, like a bunch of live TV channels. You can watch it, and then you get like to use DVR to record some stuff, so you get space to come back and watch it. It's cool, but it like Charlie said,
like Andy,
it does get up. It's really easy to point to me. That's not fair.
I've got it down. I practiced before you got here. I'm like, oh yeah, Casey's here.
It adds up to the point where if you're trying to cut the cord and get rid of cable, it's basically like you're getting these programs and it's just as expensive.
I have the Disney Hulu ESPN thing, so yeah. I'll have to wait. That's fine. Yeah, at least it's not on the cock. Nobody wants it on the cock.
Look, I've got the cock for a couple of months still, so.
Can we not call it that on this show?
That's what it is. That's what it is, Charlie.
Because I've just been calling it the effing bird.
No, it's the cock.
Nope. We're watching wrestling on the cock.
Oh.
It's too bad you can't shoot the cock on your TV.
Yeah, it's what Vince McMahon's always dreamed of.
It's the cock.
Anyway, so I want to definitely talk about WrestleMania, but before we get into that too, I also want to just check in with you guys because we always founded the show on male mental health. If you are a man, woman, whatever you recognize as, make sure to check out NAMI.org if you are struggling. I wanted to make sure we got now I messed it up down in that corner. NAMI.org. So we're going to do a quick male mental health check, and then we are going to talk some WrestleMania and some different wrestling here. I don't think we're going to do any burritos just because, we have 2 days of WrestleMania to talk about, at least, and some of the stuff that's been going on since. But I'm very excited to talk about everything. And then also Kenny Omega is the new Impact champion. So that's crazy news in wrestling. So it's Kenny, Jerry, the Canadian Jerry curled alien is
I still remember the first time I watched Kenny in Japan, and girls in the crowd were screaming his name so loud, just Kenny, Kenny, Kenny. It was like, oh my God, this guy's a megastar.
Yeah,
I would scream like a little girl if I saw him in person. I would just yell Kenny really in a high pitched voice too. But
the first time I saw Kenny Omega live was at All In, and it was Kenny Omega versus Penta. And that match was bananas. And at the time, Kenny was the IWGP heavyweight champion too. So it was just crazy. Anyway, we'll talk about that at a later time. As always, we always want to check on everybody's mental health, make sure everybody's doing okay. I don't know what I wanted to say there. I really stumbled. I rarely do. But how are you guys? How are you doing mental health wise? What are you doing to better yourselves and stay on top of your game lately?
Go ahead, Andy.
Look, sometimes life is just hard, and it's not like, it's not even like anything particular happens. It's just that sometimes you're kind of like, you feel this, I don't know if it's like a wall or if it's just kind of like a cloud of emotions that just kind of sets in all of a sudden, and you can't really quite pinpoint why. And it's just trying to work through that. The last month or so has had its moments where I've been kind of like, I think that's the best way to sum it up, is with just a nice hum kind of sound effect. But I think for me, the thing that always helps the most is really being able to have people to talk to. I think with you guys, with having friends to talk to, with having, I'm gonna point in the wrong direction. It's gonna look like I'm pointing outside, but having Sam to talk to, having the animals to cuddle with, having people at work that I enjoy, and also having people at work that I don't enjoy, who kind of everything.
We've heard about what's his name,
Like you guys, no one ever really gets to see me mad. Like,
right.
I don't show me mad. I just internalize it and then go in a room somewhere and go, just let it out that way. But yeah, there are things that happen. And you're kind of like, this is just a lot. And it's nice to have those things to kind of, release that. And like I said, friends, my girlfriend, animals, all that stuff is great. For me especially, there was a weight that felt like it lifted off of me. And I just felt like I was floating on air, because I finally, after 1 year of not going to the movie theater, I was finally able to go back. And it was just, there's something about that experience. Like, I love watching movies at home. I'm not going to stop watching movies at home. And if I have the option with some movies to watch them at home or go see them in the theater, sometimes I might choose watching them at home. But to be able to have a special experience, to go see something as crazy and off the wall as Eraserhead, or something that's very exciting for me in another round, to be able to see those at a theater that is as beautiful as the state, it made me feel for a moment that everything was taken off of my shoulders and I felt a little bit back to normal again. So that was great. So it's just being able to find those outlets that really help, take those stresses and tensions off of a person.
Good. Yeah, when I saw you at the State Theater, I felt it for you. I saw that picture of you, Blake, and Derek at the State, and I just saw that and went, "Oh, thank God, Andy!"
Right?
Oh, thank God!
Right?
So I was really happy for you, Andy.
Charlie, have you been to the State yet, Charlie?
Yeah, I have a few times. That I went with Casey and I went and saw Dazed and Confused together.
That's right. That's right.
That was a blast. And then I went and saw Rocky at the State. That had to happen. And I think Casey and I share that love together of all the Rocky movies. So I had to see Rocky on the big screen. But then I took my niece and nephew to Cool Runnings. So that's a movie that I got to see on the big screen.
I just
one of my wife's favorites.
I loved it, and I will always, like, if there's something that I see that gets announced that I really want to see, I think I'm probably going to get in the habit of swiping up a ticket right away just so that I can get that back row. That back row in the center feels like the safest place I could possibly be. Like, it's separated from everyone else. It doesn't allow for a ton of people back there. It's just, I was like, this is the best way to transition back into this thing that I love so much. So I'm taking up a lot of time, but that's how I feel.
You're good. Casey,
I just picture Andy walking in the State Theater for the first time and just having sunglasses on, takes them off, and just says, "And finally, the fat dude has come back." Oh. That's all I imagine.
Yeah.
With a nice silk shirt and everything on too.
Button to the navel.
I was gonna say, me in a silk shirt. It's like stuck to me because I'm sweating from having to walk.
It's better than it sticking to you because of baby oil, Dwayne.
That's true.
Dwayne. It's natural. You be you. No judgments here. Just a male mental health check.
That's right.
That's right.
If you want to wear a shirt like The Rock, you can wear a shirt like The Rock, Andy. That's what we're trying to say.
Is that what Casey's going to do to help his mental health? Is he just going to wear like a gold silk shirt?
I'm going to start dressing like 1999 Dwayne Johnson.
Yes. Turtleneck
having a gold chain.
Fanny pack.
Yep. I have not checked out that show, but everybody keeps telling me it's hilarious. So
the young Rock thing?
I have no interest to watch that show, but everyone keeps telling me that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I have zero interest to check out. Not that I don't love The Rock. I love The Rock, but it's just like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, there's a guy wearing that fanny pack. Funny. All right, that's funny. All right. So, all right. I do want to check on Casey here. Casey, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good. My burrito is a Casey's breakfast burrito. That's what we're doing, right? Burritos. Highly underrated. Casey's breakfast burritos. Not just because it's my name, but it is delicious.
And it is a Midwest staple.
It is a staple. Casey's the best.
So at some point, you're not a true Midwesterner until you've had supper from a Casey's gas stop at least once.
Yeah. Or you've had your whole day's worth of meals from Casey's.
Right. Yeah. They say that in order to be a true New Yorker, you have to crush a cockroach with your bare hand. And in order to be a true Midwesterner, you have to order one entire meal or just stop and get one entire meal from a Casey's Casey's gas station.
Yep.
Yeah. As far as the mental health stuff goes, I've been doing pretty good. It's been a pretty good last couple months since we last chit-chatted. Work is a little stressful right now because of a lot of changes we have going on, but that's neither here nor there, out of my control. But besides that, it's been going really good. WrestleMania was like a nice, like, all right, it's here. I can just relax and watch wrestling for 9 hours over 2 days. Why not? So that was a blast. But everything at the house is going great. Got past the shenanigans of this past winter, which is okay. There is something I should tell you guys off air about some of the shenanigans that happened. I'll have to tell you off air because it's a funny story. I don't want to say it on the internet.
Casey, I'm going to send you a picture.
Content.
Yeah. Just because I don't want to jinx it by putting it on the internet. I'll tell you guys after, but everything else is going great. I mean, we're in the middle of wedding planning right now, which is a lot less stressful than I ever thought it would be.
I got my invite. You're on the fridge.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's a save the date. Did Charlie get an invitation and I just got to save the date?
I got to save the date. That's what I meant.
Listen. We're broke, so all you're going to get is to save the date, and the rest is online because we are broke.
Yeah,
I get it.
I was going to say, I was like, listen, Casey, I love you, man. I'm probably not going to go, but if it's going to be online, I'll probably stream it and be like, cool, I'm going to eat popcorn and watch a wedding.
No, the wedding's not going to be online. I'm not going to live stream the wedding.
Never mind.
We're still bringing popcorn.
You can still bring popcorn
and sit in the back row.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit next to Andy and I'm just gonna hear something like, "Oh, the guy in Wedding Singer was way funnier."
You call that a speech? Come on. Oh, sure. Mark chapter 7, book 11. What a rip. I get it. It's a wedding. To everything there is a Caesar.
If you don't open your wedding with love, true love, I am going to be so upset with you, Casey. You being the movie buff that you are, you need to do that.
I invited Steve Buscemi to come drunk at my wedding and
hopefully
try to sing us a song too with Adam. We'll see how that goes.
Well, if he doesn't show up, we'll get Blake drunk. So
okay. Blake kind of looks like Adam Sandler, so that's all right. He can sing "Love Stinks" by the Jay Giles Band.
There you go.
Yeah.
Whoopity-doo! I did get to save the date, and I made sure that we put it on the fridge next to our niece and nephew.
Good. I will color you a picture so you can put it next to my colored picture too. So
yes, yes, and I will grade it as a good teacher does.
I just want to make my daddy proud.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you're my daddy, Charlie, but
I don't know. I mean,
do you guys need a minute? I'll let you work through this.
Yeah, get out of here. No, everything's been going good, great, grand, wonderful, good. Andy's gone. Thank God we can talk now.
You have been such a disappointment.
Now we're getting too real here, Charlie. But how you been doing, Charlie?
Good. I had today off, which was good. I talked to you guys that I was just feeling really angry on Sunday, and it just kind of hit me that it was like, that's boredom. I was really bored at work because I only have to work one weekend a month, and the reason you only do that is because not a lot goes on the weekends, and you're the only person in the office. So I could only listen to so much of my book that I had been listening to for my audiobook that I've been listening to right now. And before I was like, all right, I got to do something. And like, there was literally nothing to do. So, and then like people were trying to do things and that I couldn't do without other departments doing some things first, but they're busy. And I was just like, all right, All right, I need a day off. So I had today off, which was awesome, and I cleaned the house. We're dog sitting right now. So Casey got to meet my dog over WrestleMania, and
Sure did.
I think Kayla almost walked away with my dog. Also, there was a car accident while we were watching. While we were watching WrestleMania, like just a block away from my house.
Way too
like
close
half
to
a block away.
Yeah.
So we have another dog right now. My best friend growing up, his name is Nate. He and I are still to this day very, very close, and he's still one of my best friends. If you know, definitely one of my best friends still. He is actually, him and his wife are having their first baby right now, and is due probably later tonight. So we're dog sitting, and we're awaiting the text message that baby is here. But my favorite thing to do with them is that I've been calling the baby some type of Mexican dish for their first name, followed by the middle name being a contemporary famous wrestler, and then his last name. So the newest name was Chalupa Orange Cassidy Skadson. And I was really hoping that I'm really crossing my fingers that's the name that they choose. But
I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope the baby just comes out
or whatever. Or whatever.
Just tell them you hope it's not a hand.
It comes out. It comes out. Where?
It just all you see is from below the sheet is just
one tear.
One tear. Oh man. But WrestleMania weekend was like my favorite weekend I've had in a long time. Tyson came, and so my wife left. She left for the weekend from Minneapolis to go visit her friends and help her brother, who just bought a house, pack up their house. So my buddy Tyson came, and he spent the night all weekend long. So we had like a wrestling sleepover, which was awesome. He got to my house. We just kind of caught up a little bit because we hadn't seen each other in a couple of months due to COVID. And then we watched the Impact pay-per-view, which was as zany as you could possibly make a wrestling pay-per-view. There was a match called the Crate with a C, American Bash, where they just had crates on every post of the ring. And that was really fun. And then we watched WrestleMania, woke up, we watched the Jericho interview. We watched WrestleMania 19, which was really just a blast to watch something from the past, and then watched more WrestleMania after that. I just sent the picture to our group chat. I don't know if we can get it up on here, but also having the WrestleMania spread that we had, Casey, we had on Sunday, was one of my favorite things. And then Lori came from Minneapolis with my favorite pizza. Yes, there it is. We had pizza and wings and Popeyes.
Oh, there it is.
Biscuits. It was it just felt like this really did my little boy heart good. Maybe it didn't do my 33-year-old heart good, but it did my little boy heart good to just be like, I'm gonna eat junk food. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna eat junk food and watch wrestling. There it is. There is the WrestleMania
Look at that spread.
Which was from day 2. Day 1 we had steak tacos and chicken tacos.
Amazing.
What are those sauces over there?
What did we have? We had Wingstop. I think we had like teriyaki, Louisiana rub,
buffalo, and then garlic, maybe.
Nice.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then I don't know why we had celery and carrots. I mean,
that came from Wingstop. It was just
kind of party.
This is the set dressing of it.
And then up there is Tyson's pasta salad that he made. So my favorite story that I've been telling everybody, because this is the funniest thing, because you were there to witness this, Casey, was Tyson. Tyson goes, he has a work thing for a little while, and then he comes back. And Tyson gets super high. And for whatever reason, he wants to contribute Popeyes to the party, and he is trying his damnedest to order Popeyes from his phone and have it delivered. And I just hear him like, "Oh man, I can't get this to work. Look at this." And I looked at it and I'm like, "It's because you're ordering from the Popeyes app. You're not ordering from like Uber Eats or DoorDash. You're ordering from the Popeyes app, which we don't have delivery in our area." And I'm like, "All right, whatever. Just get in the car. I'm going to drive you up because it's like 4 blocks from my house."
Right.
We drive up and we get there, and Tyson orders like the big meal spread, or he's ready to order the big meal spread. And he goes, "Oh," and I'm getting myself one of those bomb spicy chicken sandwiches. And I was like, so we're going to order like a 36-piece meal or whatever we had, 10 biscuits, mashed potatoes, and you're going to get yourself a chicken sandwich too? Yeah, man. You're buying me. I looked at him and I said, "You're buying me one too." And he bought me a chicken sandwich.
So much food.
It was so much food, and we got through as much of it as we could before throwing some of it away. But I was very happy to have Casey, and Kayla came over Saturday. Wasn't able to come over Sunday, but that was like one of my favorite weekends I've had in a very long time. So I appreciate you coming over, Casey. You were very missed, Andy. So you were there in spirit.
Yay!
Yeah, you were very, very missed. We had a blast all together, and we were talking. I mean, obviously the three of us were talking throughout WrestleMania.
I could feel Andy's ghost, like his Ultimate Warrior ghost story, just looming over top of us, just
snorting. Well, I know because day 2, Casey and I ended up like in my house sitting together. So you were right there, just going.
Watch is the power of the warrior. Pins 2 men and 1.
During the women's tag team match, I literally heard Andy go, "This match takes a nosedive." All right, let's start with night 1. Opening match was Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. It looks like Bobby Lashley retains. How are we feeling about the match, the retaining?
As someone who hasn't been completely invested in this storyline at all, I thought this was I thought it was a fun way to open up the show. I appreciate that Drew McIntyre was so adamant about being the first person out or being in the first match for the first WrestleMania or the first wrestling event in front of fans in a year. For me, that shows like it's a mixture of like both incredible confidence and this absolute humility of like wanting to sacrifice like a higher position. That's cool. Somebody who really wants to give something to this business, but then also being like, yeah, I'll give up that last spot because I want to be the first person people see and get them pumped up. So yeah, I thought it was a fun match. I thought it was a good time. And yeah, I'm not the world's biggest Bobby Lashley fan at all, but I think he's, I feel like I'm invested in him more now that he has the title and kind of is really creating a character for himself than I think I ever have been in the past.
I think there's also something to be said that Bobby Lashley has that there's always the stories of Vince McMahon always looks for the airport quality, which means that if somebody's walking through an airport that you see them and you're like, I don't know what that guy does, but he's someone. And Bobby Lashley has that. So does Drew McIntyre. But Bobby Lashley has that. I think a new viewer, if you were to watch and you saw Bobby Lashley was the first person that you saw, you'd be like, oh, and you'd probably stick around to see what he could do. And he's incredible in the ring. So I definitely get that. I really like that he retained too. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, the right guy retained. Going again, I'm trying to catch up on everything that's been going on, so I missed a lot of Drew's face turn stuff that he had, when he was champion. I missed all the Hurt Business stuff, and now that's just done.
That's probably the biggest.
Sucks for me. I guess I missed out on all that.
That was kind of a big shame on WWE, in my opinion, to break up the Hurt Business right before WrestleMania. Now it's starting to open up as to why, but I wish they would have done that after WrestleMania.
What is the why, Charlie? I'm missing out. What's the why? What's the reason behind that? I'm
really liking that Bobby Lashley is standing on his own, that he doesn't need and I think he's kind of the dude's 275, 6'4". He's a professional athlete, a former NCAA wrestler, former Marine. Like, the guy has credentials as an athlete up the wazoo.
Right.
He doesn't need a faction to back him up. He is a one-man wrecking crew, and you need to build him as a one-man wrecking crew. Do I feel that for Shelton and for Cedric? 100%. I wish that they would have had that spot at WrestleMania. But Bobby Lashley with just MVP is still giving me something interesting to watch.
Yeah. I think there was ways around that they could have kept those guys together. Just ban them from ringside. It's a simple stipulation, to keep those guys around. Now he's doing stuff with the Retribution guys that broke up with Mustafa Ali, and it's like, why are they taking the spot of Shelton and Cedric? I don't know, but as far as like the Mania match goes, I think it was a fine opening Mania match. I don't know if Drew got the reaction they were wanting, like a huge explosive fan reaction for like, this is our next guy type of thing, but I'm glad that Bobby retained. I would like to see Bobby hold on for a while, and if they're eventually pushing for what I'm hoping for is Bobby and Brock down the road, SummerSlam maybe, and having Brock do a face run, which he hasn't done since he's come back.
Which would be very interesting.
However many years ago that was, 6 years ago, something like that. Yeah, that'd be cool to see him go on a big face run. And I don't know who you put as his mouthpiece. I think you have to have someone as his mouthpiece just because Brock isn't great on the microphone, but I think he can definitely pull that off as trying to be a baby face here, and he can be his mouthpiece.
Yes.
Okay. I like that I did the classroom face.
Yeah.
Teacher.
Okay, so we're turning him face, right? You're turning him face. You know what you have him do? You have him save the New Day somehow, get over, work past all of their problems with him. His mouthpiece, Austin Creed.
Yeah,
that's Xavier Woods. Let Xavier Woods be his mouthpiece. He will. The whole New Day, would be the person that he needs, because they bring the energy and he brings the brawn, not Braun Strowman, who can take a walk.
Who can jump off a steel cage for all I care.
Oh, for all the people that have been called stupid in their life.
This is for you, stupid.
So, okay, here's my argument with that, is that I think Brock being away for a year and a half, there's just going to be a pining that he could just come and do his Brock thing, and Heyman can be he can be a face on Raw and a heel on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say a whole lot when he's on SmackDown anyway.
He doesn't. He's kind of playing the same role that he did when he was with Punk. Like, Punk could talk. So, Punk didn't need him. He just needed to be there. And that's what made Punk a heel at that time, was because he had Paul Heyman. But I think you just let Brock be Brock, let him mow through a bunch of people, but let him mow through the right people. Like, let him return and destroy destroy the. Well, yes. Let him go back and destroy Retribution. Like, just let him destroy those guys, or come in and just beat the fucking shit out of MVP because he's a great heel too. And then you've got that energy. But we can always fantasy book if we don't fantasy believe. So
let's get on to the best match of the night, match 2.
Match 2 was the women's tag team turmoil. Okay. Can we all agree that it is a shame that they did not pull the trigger on Ruby and Liv here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's Ruby and Liv were so over. They were so over. You should have
they've been over for years.
They have been. They have been, and they deserve that shot. They really deserve that shot. I think even have them win this match, lose the next day, but now you've got like a sympathetic babyface female tag team that you can now build for a few months back into that scene, and eventually give them a big win.
The only actual tag team on your roster too for the women's division.
Right. I know. Well, and what did Nate say at the in the middle of the match on night 2? He was like, "Oh, this match is going to end just like we always dreamed. The hot tag to Tamina." Like that, I think that just speaks volumes. Like,
does Tamina and Natalya need that spot? Natalya's been in a good probably 10 WrestleManias, I'm sure, between when she started and now.
Yeah, and it's cool that Tamina finally got like a moment where the fans were actually cheering for her,
which was weird.
But yeah, but I was so pulled. I was just, you gotta pull the trigger on your young talent, in my opinion. Tamina's been there for 10 years. She hasn't really done a whole lot productive within television. Ruby and Liv are different. They're an actual tag team. They are marketable as hell. Between the two of them, it just should have happened. It just should have happened that way.
Should have.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on the negative on that, but go ahead, Andy.
I do just want to say this. The one thing that, and this is not going to be negative. So, hey, the one thing that I think is really good about this is that you do give the women of the WWE an opportunity to be at WrestleMania, because they're a large, so much of the women's roster didn't have a match, and this is a chance for them to have that match. Again, like you guys said, I think they gave the rub to the wrong people.
Wrong kid, Dad.
Yeah, you want to foster younger talent and have them be the ones that are going to be there to pick up the torch and run with it. But it was cool to get a chance, get the opportunity to see some talent have a WrestleMania spot. And then one of them, the best talents from this crop gets let go of later in the week. So how about that?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we'll skim through night 1, the good and the bad, but I do want to talk about some of those releases if you have time.
Can I give one pitch for what they should have done with this? Is
talk about it.
Pull a full besides the Billy Bailey thing, which now we understand why they didn't pull the trigger on that. They were going to let one of them go a week later, which is idiotic. But what they should have done is gone full WrestleMania 20 and had one night do the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way. Next night, do a Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag belts.
Yeah.
Everybody gets their spot on Mania. I don't know why Natalya and Tamina needed to be on both nights. I'm glad they were on. Yeah, because I love Natalya.
Yeah,
but they didn't need to be on both nights. That would have been my fantasy book. And again, I think all the 8 guys that were in that tag team match deserve to be on the Mania card too, and they just weren't allowed to be.
Can we talk about how much Billy fucking crushed it impersonating Carmella as she was coming out? Just cracking me up the whole time. But yes, it should have been one of the teams should have been Billy and Bailey, and they should have. I would have cheered for that team 100%.
Also, Bailey should have just hosted WrestleMania, because Hogan and Titus was the most awkward thing I've seen in a very, very long time.
And Hogan getting booed and then being confused as to why he's getting booed. You're a racist! God damn it!
Yeah.
He said he was sorry.
He added brother at the end of it. It doesn't count.
Brother. Titus, brother. You hear me, brother? Dude.
I am not a racist, brother.
Listen here, dude.
Anyway, all right. Yeah. Night one also had one of my favorite matches of the I'd probably say in my top 3 matches of the entire weekend. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Cesaro getting the win was a genuinely happy moment, knowing having experienced those moments of guys getting a little bit of a rub from the promotions that I've worked with. Best thing, I'm going to give a shout out to a guy who wrestles for us now, Chaos. When Chaos finally won, he won the Rumble match that we did for our second title when they were introducing that, and he really hadn't done a whole lot before that, but then he ended up winning it, and all the boys kind of flooded and gave him the "you deserve it" because he was always somebody that we were cheering for. So that's the most comparable thing I have to Cesaro winning. I don't know how you guys felt, but that's kind of the vibe that I got, was that the fans and the locker room were all very happy about this.
What I'm liking is they're following up with this, because as I've been catching up on SmackDown stuff after Mania, he's in a program with Roman right away. I'm like, yep, that's the right direction. Have him beat Seth, and then the proper direction after that is for him to take on Roman, which I think is going to be an incredible feud. Obviously, it's the biggest feud of Cesaro's career, right?
Oh, for sure.
He's never been in that title situation.
Yeah, I've never seen him in a WWE title match. He may have been in an Elimination Chamber style, like a multi-man type match, but he's never had a one-on-one. I can tell you that for sure.
Heyman's been a big proponent for Cesaro forever, so it's nice. Yeah. And it's nice to see. I love the behind the scenes story of when he did his no arm swing.
Yeah,
is that UFO? Yeah, he's had that since Ring of Honor, and I don't remember who said it to him. Like, why don't you use that ever in a match? And he says, I'm just waiting for the right moment to use it. And for 7 years he's been in WWE, he's never used it. This was the night he used it. Like, that's he knew what this night was, and this was his big moment, and it's nice to see. I love Cesaro. I hope they keep pushing this guy to the moon.
I do too. Incredible in-ring talent. I think he could use a mouthpiece, but
he has one.
It's really true. Incredible. Big congratulations to him. Andy, how do you feel about Cesaro?
Cesaro. I am a former member of the Cesaro section. I just think I've really enjoyed Cesaro for a long time, and I think putting these two up against each other in a story, have them go at it at WrestleMania, the biggest night of the year, really was the right stage for two people that know how to perform at this level, and I think they lived up to it. I think, maybe the storyline wasn't as developed as it could have been, but that doesn't matter, because the show that they put on when it mattered, that it was great.
Seth Rollins' promotional ad is incredible. His like political ad he has against Cesaro is just that's the storyline. That's all I care. It's awesome.
But those two guys are great. They're a lot of fun to watch, and this was no exception to that. Getting to see them both together was a ton of fun. This is one that I actually watched while it was on. So
did you? Good. Yep. That was when he did the UFO. I was like, he's finally doing it. This is my old Ring of Honor days. Like, he's Claudio again, because I am a huge mark for that era of Ring of Honor. Moving on, anyway.
It's not the last time we'll bring up that era of Ring of Honor, Charlie.
No. We'll probably keep bringing it because I keep going back to it. Anyway, all right. The next two matches, I want to skim over. One of them. AJ and Omos picking up the tag titles against the New Day. Haven't been on TV in 3 weeks after winning the titles.
That's what I was going to bring up, is they had this big moment of, all right, Omos is our new big guy, AJ's going to be, taking him under his wing. Well, AJ's under his wing, I guess, in terms of height. But yeah, they haven't been on TV since this. What the hell is going on?
COVID. One of them had to have gotten COVID.
But it's been a month. It's been a month since WrestleMania's happened. They should be fine. They should be fine.
They should be.
Not everybody recovers from COVID in a couple of weeks. Some people are still sick with it. I was gonna say, okay, who got busted for something that they're still trying to keep under wraps? Like what did you do while you were there? What did you do in Florida? Let's sweep it under the rug, big man.
Yeah, well, and the whole time that as almost got tagged, I'm like, okay, now it's time for you to tell me how bad this guy really is. And you have kept him away from everyone forever. How bad is this guy? And he wasn't that bad, but
he wasn't bad. He was also in the ring with three of the best workers that they have right now.
Yeah. Marked the fuck out when Xavier got in the ring and said, "You are not a tag team wrestler. We are effectively cutting the ring in half." Because all I could hear in my head is every time I call a tag team match, Nick, for the first few months, whenever I would call one, he's just like, "Remember to talk about them cutting the ring in half. Remember to talk about cutting the ring in half on commentary." Like, yeah, okay. So when he did that, I was like, that motherfucker was trained by Nick Dinsmore. He got to WWE and he trained under Dinsmore. I know he did. I know that's a fact. Like, this isn't me just making things up. But it was moving on. And then Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon happened, and then Bad Bunny and Damien.
Hold on, let's not gloss over this. That match was fun.
This was not a match.
Yeah, the storyline is god awful, horrible, one of the worst things WWE has done in a very long time. But Shane almost killing himself is always fun to watch.
It's really true. It's always a reason to watch WrestleMania, is that there's a good chance that somebody who's going to inherit billions of dollars will die before he can inherit it. So,
like we said, he's just trying to make his daddy proud out there. He's like, "Can I have the company?" Hunter wouldn't do that, Dad. Hunter wouldn't do that.
Dad, watch me fly off of this cage. Look,
Daddy.
I'm gonna go, Daddy.
Daddy, do you remember when we hired my friends and called them the Mean Street Posse, Daddy? Fucking feelings on that feud. Do we have them? I guess.
Horrible. Moving on.
I'm done. Yeah. I'm done with Braun.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Final two matches of the night. Biggest surprise of the evening: Bad Bunny and Damian Priest going over The Miz and John Morrison. How cool was Bad Bunny?
Right? I feel like when they have these celebrity guests for any of these things, it's mostly there just to show up, get applause or rile up a crowd, something like that. Not everyone seems to take it super seriously, where they really put in the work. Man, this guy, it's Bad Bunny and the guy who played Green Arrow, who really just I feel like they love this. Yeah. So
Stephen Amell.
Yeah.
Stephen Amell has a show about being a wrestler coming out. Oh, that's how much he loves this. Right. Yeah.
I also got his brother in that too. Or his cousin, whichever. Is that his cousin? The other guy from Arrow.
I can't remember. I feel like, it's somebody notable. But yeah, it's a Showtime series about being a tag team. But I got to watch Stephen Amell versus Christopher Daniels in Chicago during All In, which I was not looking forward to, because I was really pissed off, because Christopher Daniels will probably be in my top 10 of all time at the end of the day. For me personally, it just I saw his body of work, and I probably saw all of it. Maybe not all of it, but most of it. So when I saw Christopher Daniels going up against Stephen Amell. I was like, oh, can't we give Daniels someone fun? And then they had a freaking great match. And then we saw Stephen Amell go up against his buddy Stardust. So anyway, I wanted to agree with you that Stephen Amell definitely put in the work. He looks like a wrestler too.
Yeah. But man, Bad Bunny being as charismatic, energetic, like willing to go for it the way that he did. Woo, this is somebody that cares. It's somebody that cares about this business. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch that match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like if Bad Bunny and wants to stick around like Stephen Amell kind of has, like he totally will have a spot and the fans will be behind him every time. I think this is that was the big question mark for a lot of people is what's Bad Bunny going to do? Is Priest going to, carry the match? Bunny will get the hot tag and just do a dive off the top rope and that's it. No, they did the opposite of what of the Amos AJ match and had, Bad Bunny get the shit kicked out of him. Priest gets the hot tag, which I really liked. And Bad Bunny was selling his ass off, taking everything really great. I mean, The Miz and Morrison should get tons of credit for this, for carrying this.
Can we give them that, Andy? Can we give them
a moose?
Yeah, that was one of my highlights from the whole weekend was watching Bad Bunny and
him doing a Canadian Destroyer. Who saw that coming? What?
That was the coolest. I think we all saw that happening, and like we were all just.
And it was perfect camera reactions because it shows Miz and Damian Priest both like. He just did that.
Well, it would have been funny. I wish I knew the backstage story, but it would have been great if Bunny learned how to do that. And Morrison is like, "Yeah, dude, give it to me, Johnny Drip Drip."
So okay, I'm gonna derail this conversation for just a second. There's a reason why I'm derailing it, because this was, after watching this was the moment where I was like, why the fuck am I watching this on my phone? And I like tried to find a Peacock app somewhere, like on Roku, on Samsung. I'm like, why? And there's no button that you can push on there to shoot it from your phone to the television. So my derailing of the conversation is, how did you guys watch this? Is it on something that I don't have, or did you watch it on a computer?
It's on Roku.
Listen, no, it must be on the new Roku, because on the Roku that I have, that's from back in the early 90s. I don't know. That's way too early. But I could not find the channel.
Dial up Roku.
That's right. Listen, I connected my Roku to Prodigy, and I just couldn't find it anywhere.
Hello, Moto, and everything popped up.
I'm with you, Andy. I have one TV in my house just because it's a new smart TV that has it. Like my Fire Sticks don't have it. PlayStation doesn't have it.
Man,
it's the cock is the worst.
Yep. Yeah.
I
hate the cock.
I think I have a Roku 4, but I bought it at a pawn shop.
Sure.
So it wasn't like, I wasn't like made of money. Still not. Kind of sucks. Struggling wrestling announcer. Book me, damn it.
They're like, don't worry, Charlie. You can have this Roku from the pawn shop. It has the cock on it.
Yeah, it does now. It does now. Plenty of that fucking bird. God. Anyway,
Listen,
Bad Bunny killed it.
Yep.
Bad Bunny killed it. Jomo and The Miz sold the fucking shit out of this too. Like they made Bad Bunny look like a goddamn wrestling superstar. So yeah, I think Bad Bunny, in my opinion, just like Stephen Amell, has kind of just become buddies with Cody, and he'll make appearances from time to time. I think Bad Bunny should stick with WWE and just become like the Tom Hanks, like what Tom Hanks is to SNL, and just when he appears, it's like an event.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should continue that. He can continue putting in the work. Excuse me. That was such a fun match. I had so much fun watching that from head to toe. Moving on to the main event of night one. my favorite match of the entire weekend, Sasha Banks versus Bianca. Bianca goes over.
Yeah.
This is for me match of the weekend too, and I told you after Charlie that I did a full 180 on Bianca. This is the one that won both me and Kayla over. Self high five for Charlie Eccles there. But yeah, this definitely won me over for Bianca. Like this felt like a Mania moment, seeing those two in the ring, getting the full introduction, starting to tear up. And you could tell Sasha was trying to keep in character, yet she was still like, yeah, this is a big moment for both of us. It was so cool to have those two together, and just the match they had delivered on every aspect of it. And I love that they used every bit of the hair and every part of the storyline of this. I said it before the match. I'm like, she's going to do a bank statement with the hair, right? Sure shit, they do a bank statement with the hair. Just the sound of the hair whip onto Sasha's back. Like I can still hear it. Like that's what it feels like. I still hear that sound. And as soon as that happened, the entire crowd just the
fact that she made that ring throughout that place would hold like 75 or 80,000 people. The fact that she made it ring that. And then you saw Sasha's stomach, just with that giant cut across it. So good. So good. And what a fucking cool moment for the two of them. Easily, well, I shouldn't say easily. In my opinion, the best women's match that's ever been on a WrestleMania. Yeah, Charlotte and Asuka is real close to them. In my opinion, this felt like a big fight, and this is going over Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda main eventing, which was an awesome moment. But it was.
I would say it's for sure for me top 3. It might be the top. Yeah, I mean, I love Trish and Mickey from was it 22, 21, somewhere in there. Just because I thought the storyline was great. This storyline for this match was not great.
No, it wasn't.
It had a great hype package right before it, which I think definitely helped add to the big fight feel for it. But the match over delivered on the storyline.
Yeah, just a great match, and I'm gonna bring something up here, just because if there was anything that sullied this match for me for just a moment, and I know that we can't completely fault him for it, but it was the end of kick out when Bianca won. Like Michael Cole's calling the match, just that I was like, oh no, what? And then he kind of was like, oh, what? Oh yeah, this happened. That was the only thing that took me out of it, just because I don't know. But the match overall, everything was great. It was so much fun to watch, and that for me, this was my number 2 match of everything that I watched, but it was a close number 2. But my favorite moment of all of this WrestleMania was them in the ring, receiving the applause and them reacting to it. When you can tell they're like, no, we got to stay in character. We got a match coming. I can't. This is amazing.
Bell rang, though. They heard that bell ring and it was on. It was fucking on. It was so good. So.
Can I give a shout out to we didn't talk about the opening of the show with Vince, which I thought was great. Vince is almost choking up. It felt like a genuine moment of even Vince, the cold-hearted bastard that Mr. McMahon is, still has a heart for the fans after all.
That he's kind of been portrayed as over the last few years anyway. Yeah.
And Rhea Ripley in the background just bawling. Again, a great story of that behind the scenes. She saw Edge crying and she's like, okay, it's okay if a guy I grew up idolizing is crying during this moment, and I can cry too.
And Night One's version of America the Beautiful, BB Rexa, I thought that was really good. The second one was fine, but just something
I can't remember who did the second one.
I can't remember the artist's name either. But just that I guess, and it might have just been the overall feel of being, we get to hear it this year, and it gets to be live, and everybody gets to be there for it. Like everything kind of mixed together to make this really incredible opening that, you know, I haven't really felt something this great of an opening for a while. So yeah, it was really good. Really, really good. Good throwback, Charlie. That was good.
Yeah. I loved the I loved night one.
Or good throwback Casey, because I think Casey was the one who's like, oh, I want to call out Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he was.
Call him out.
What's her before we go into night 2, did you guys get to watch any of WWE's programming leading up to the week of WrestleMania?
Such as like the Hall of Fame and
NXT, Raw, SmackDown, any of that stuff?
I caught the NXT at your house when we were watching it
a bit
before.
We were watching the weight match. Yep.
Yeah. So I caught an hour of the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly match. There's still about 3 more hours left I need to catch up on.
That was the longest match ever.
Yeah.
Man. I did not go back and watch any of the NXT stuff. I should have, but I did not.
I definitely recommend the ladder match, especially for me, was probably my match of the weekend, or of their 2-night special. And then Tommaso Ciampa versus Walter was, from a wrestling nerd's perspective and from just like a general, like if you like watching 2 really tough dudes beat the fuck out of each other, you got to watch this match. And but that, having the stand and deliver, the 2-day NXT event leading up to it, it was really cool to see that WrestleMania made up for last year's. You know, usually you get that weekend of WrestleMania between like the NXT special and WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame and SmackDown and Raw. They made up for it by saying like, no, we're going to give you a full week of programming, and it's going to feel like a big deal again. So that made me feel really good. I watched a few of the Hall of Fame speeches. I didn't get to watch the one that I wanted to because of Peacock.
Ah, that cock.
In Peacock. But I caught Davey Boy Smith's family inducting him into the Hall of Fame. That was a very special moment.
Did you catch the crowd chanting "one more match" at the Bellas? That obviously happened at the Hall of Fame ceremony, right?
I didn't catch that, actually.
And it was not put in the hype package after? Absolutely not at all.
It's definitely, I hate to burst your bubble here, man. That's going to happen. So they're going to come back and they're going to take those tag titles.
Oh, at least they're an actual team. That's fine.
That's true.
With me.
And I love the Bellas. I think they are extremely underrated in my eyes. I know I'm in the minority here, but I've always viewed the Bellas as a team that gets looked down upon when they don't deserve it. So
I think they're fine. Yeah, I think they're fine.
They totally turned heel on Bayley too, which I did not care for.
Bayley
dancing with a racist is not cool.
It's true. That's really true. And then Bayley coming out and saying,
"How can you like that, Charlie? They danced with a racist."
I mean, I don't know.
Who hasn't at some point?
I watched The Bachelorette with my wife. I get it. I mean, yeah, he chose a racist. He was black. So that'll be the one and only Bachelor reference on this show.
Good call out for all of our Bachelorette watchers in the crowd today.
It's The Bachelor. Thank you.
Sorry.
Anyway, let's move on to night 2, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on since. Okay, I'm going to talk about the stinker of the weekend for me. Randy Orton defeating the Fiend. Okay, that entrance was awesome. The Jack in the Box was awesome. The heel turn, apparently, of Alexa was apparently not a heel turn.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
It wasn't Bray Wyatt. It was Bo Dallas. And then he got fired.
Bo Dallas got fired.
Did get fired. I don't know. I didn't hate this.
Okay.
But I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, this should have been a cinematic match. It just felt like it in any other. If this would take place at next year's WrestleMania, even with a crowd, it would be a cinematic match. It was just the fact that I'm sure Randy and Bray and Alexa are like, we want to be in front of the crowd, that the only crowd that we've had in a year and we'll have until probably SummerSlam. So,
and Randy Orton is far and away the most experienced in-ring guy that was on that card.
Mm-hmm. But it was a non-match. It
was done in cane red light.
I felt like Sin Cara was going to come out at some point with that lighting, and I could have used more spooky maggots on the mat during this match instead of the red lights.
I know. And I just feel bad for these two because it's two guys that if you just gave them like a no DQ match, they would have stole the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They would have stole the weekend between the two of them. But now they've had two matches at WrestleMania that were like giant build-up stories between the two of them. And both of them have sucked because they keep trying to add shit in. Mm-hmm. And it just should have been a no DQ. And if Alexa's going to turn on Bray, make it more obvious. Don't make her octopus bleed ink out of her head and call it a heel turn.
Yeah. Should have had Bray Wyatt like explode in the ring.
Right.
Like body parts go everywhere, all into the crowd. Like that's what they get for coming back.
Step up our game and light a bottle rocket in Bray Wyatt's penis. Like, that's the way it
she should have made him walk the plank on the pirate ship. Like we could have had they should have pitched it as a pirate ship match, and she made Bray walk the plank.
It happened, and then we haven't even touched on the fact that they just reused all of the promo footage from last year.
Oh,
this
all the
multi-billion-dollar company just reused all the voiceover work that they used from last year.
It was horrible too, like that stupid narration thing of, "Oh, we got to pause here. This is how it's going to be." And I was like, "Stop this."
Okay, hold on. I'm going to butt in here because this is the stupidest shit of all. So first off, listen. We're riffing on Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Totally relevant.
Way to be super timely on that one.
Yep.
And none of it's funny. Like we talked about wet farts earlier. Like that's what this whole intro is. And then it basically is the same exact thing from night 1 to night 2. Like if you're gonna do something like this, like make it fit each show, like make it a big deal. Instead, it was just stupid. And right now, like I don't even care. You know, of course, it's not the real Johnny Depp, but like this is not
Paul
someone
Burchill.
Who? What?
It was Paul Burchill.
I don't know.
Paul Burchill, who played a pirate.
Who played a pirate right after
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, on WWE. He swung in on a rope like he was a pirate.
Yeah, he was a mainstay at WWECW.
Yep.
Just shoot me. Anyway, listen. But you're doing a riff on Johnny Depp. Let's not have anything to do with Johnny Depp right now. Let's maybe take a step back and be like, do we really want to do this? No, we can do something clever with. I get it. We're at Tampa Bay, the home of the Buccaneers.
They could have done though, like this is the home of champions.
Captain Phillips type.
No, they could have made it like this is the home of champions. Yeah. The Buccaneers just won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady. This is Tom Brady's home field right here.
Yeah,
the place of champions. That's what it should.
Tom Brady could have come out to a rousing ovation.
I'm sure he would have. Just as much as him and Hulk Hogan could have hosted the show, and would have been a wide array of boos throughout the crowd.
We're gonna take this opportunity to celebrate Trump's place in the WWE Hall of Fame with Hulk Hogan and Tom Brady, two premier MAGA hat wearing.
Two real Americans.
If they really wanted Bobby Lashley to get some heat, they should bring back his old buddy Donnie T to hang out with the Hurt Business for a while.
God.
And then have MVP beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. It would have been great if Bobby Lashley would have just ate him.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
He might have. I haven't seen Donald Trump since the election. Bobby Lashley might have just ate
really true. That'd be awesome. I'm all for it. Book it.
Put it on pay-per-view
for us. Put it on pay-per-view.
That shit.
Take all my money. The intros did sound like
stuff is such good shit. Guarantee that's what Vince was saying backstage, or he was falling
exactly. I just imagine Vince McMahon at like some pirate-themed restaurant, not knowing what it was a pirate-themed restaurant. Like, this waiter, he's real funny. I'm going to give him a job. He's where did you learn that, kid? And then how would you like to be on WrestleMania? And the pirate, I don't know. Also, hey, speaking of pirates, now this is an offshoot. I'm gonna take us way off the rails. Sorry. Did you know that there is a DoorDash driver in Sioux Falls who dresses like a pirate and has an animatronic parrot on his shoulder, and he calls himself the Dashing Dasher?
What? Oh. Maybe it was that guy that was doing the voiceover.
I hope so. You
should try to get him and then ask him.
He comes rolling in with your McDonald's in a Mustang, and then he does a whole pirate gimmick. He has a better gimmick than some wrestlers that I know.
If that's the case, I'm completely turning around on this opening. Like, way to go for that guy.
Okay, so I found this out at the last wrestling show. Somebody ordered DoorDash. I don't know. It was one of the wrestlers. Just ordered Buffalo Wild Wings. Just like,
I can't say that I blame him.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't either. But at the same time, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
maybe this guy knows he was going to a wrestling show and it was actually just Paul Burchill.
It probably was.
And he's like,
nobody's seen Paul Burchill since he was in WWE.
Yeah.
So.
He works for Uber Eats now.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, end sidebar. Let's move on from the Pirates and the crap show. Go ahead.
Can I say one thing about the? This is going to be. There's no purpose in this, but I'll still say. I thought I'm the person who advocates for story, right? I'm a big fan of storylines. That's what I want. In this instance, with Bray and Randy, I don't want a story. I wanted them to fight. I wanted there to be a match. And I'm still into what they're doing with these two characters with the Fiend and Alexa right now, but I sure hope it goes somewhere quickly, because it's just you're losing me. You're losing. Like, I have very little time that I commit to wrestling now, and if I can't get on board with them, then I'm kind of like, where's my hook? What am I hooked into?
Yeah, I think I'm out on this story. I think I'm out.
I'm in on the cool Fiend look and effects and all that. The storyline is dog shit.
Yep. This is
speaking of matches that are dog shit.
Actually,
it wasn't that bad.
The match transition. No. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler retain over Tamina and Natalya. We already kind of talked about this. Tamina getting her cheers was cool. I think we just leave it at that for Tamina, though. I think she had her WrestleMania
Good for her.
Like, we talk about it when she decides to retire.
Goes in the Hall of Fame alongside the Bellas. Yeah.
Does she go in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, why not?
Here's my thing, and this is no fault of Tamina's. We don't need to see Tamina anymore, because we don't need to keep bringing up her dad. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. That Tamina needs to. That, like, Casey, you summed it up very well when we were watching, because the announcer said these two women want to carve their own legacy and leave their legacy, their family legacy behind, and carve their own legacy, blah, 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 blah. First thing Natalya does is goes for a sharpshooter, and then Tamina does the big splash. Like, cool. No, that's not where the story was.
Well, like, Tamina's wearing cheetah print, and Natalya's wearing pink and coming out to the heart music. Yeah. Well, WWE does not care. Does not care about anything going on in any tag division.
It doesn't. And it's sad.
I feel like Shayna deserves better. Like, next year it should be like Shayna and Rhea Ripley in one of the title matches for the Raw or SmackDown. I don't care. Like, Shayna needs to be in. Get away from Nia. Get away from Tamina. get away from the tag belts for a while. Yeah,
she needs about a year and a half ago, Rhea and Shayna had a match on NXT for the women's title over there right before Shayna jumped ship. You need to go back and watch that. That was probably my match, one of my top 5 matches of that year.
She's been the biggest misstep of any NXT female call-up. I think Shayna has. Everybody else has excelled.
I mean,
she should be in a title she would in a singles title match. She's stuck with Nia.
Well, they did just fire Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. So.
Yeah, it's not like they're really focusing on the women's division. When you have 2 very entertaining, let's break them up and fire them. I don't know. They'll debut as like the Legendaries on Impact or something. So, but it wasn't a bad match.
Yeah, it was a match.
Yeah, going back to it, though, I'm going to say it again. Liv and Ruby should have been in that match. But moving on to what I think is probably my number 2 or number 3 match of the entire card, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. That's good shit, pal.
Yeah.
I'm very mixed on this. This is
okay.
Because one is the overbearing, why is this shit turd in this match? Whatever Paul brother was in this. I don't remember which one. He was just there. I don't know why. Throw him into any other match. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens does not need this. Throw him in the women's. He should have hung out with Riddle, actually, and taken a bro kick from Sheamus or something like that. Like him and Riddle would have been fun. And Sami and Kevin gave it their all. True professionals. I'm sure they didn't want him anywhere near their storyline either, because it was finally the culmination of the 2 best friends getting a WrestleMania match together. And then there's this
Kevin even said that in that promo that we mentioned earlier. I mean, he just went on and on and on about him and Sammy's history and how they're going to give you the best thing that they've ever done. And then he says, and if this Paul guy wants to get involved, I'll get him out of the way.
Yeah. And he was pointless. He was just there like, I can't believe wrestlers do this. Wow. Can't believe it. Wow. And then he takes a stunner, and that's it. He didn't need to be a part of this. This also should have been a lot longer. I felt the match was way too short for Kevin and Sami and what they could do. It felt very, very short. Like this was maybe the one that was cut for time, unfortunately.
I disagree with you only in the sense that I think these guys are going to continue their program, and they'll get their long match, only because you need to give the main events as much time as you possibly can.
You also don't need to give Tamina and Natalya another night with more time either.
Right, but Natty has been there longer than probably everyone except for
Randy Orton. Yeah.
And I mean, Edge. True. Yeah. So, I mean,
I just wish it was longer. That's get rid of the Paul kid and make it a little longer. The story's already there. Doesn't need a whole lot of build.
I think get rid of the Paul kid in general is just good. Like that's a good life motto to live by. Like let's get rid of Logan Paul completely.
Yeah.
For all the kids out there listening, get rid of him.
Yeah. For all the kids out there listening who watch Logan Paul, maybe stop.
For all the people who are watching us right now, who are not watching because they're our friends, start hashtag get rid of Logan Paul. Get on it, Brian. And all right.
For all the people who aren't watching because they're our friends. I like that. Like the people who we have asked very kindly to watch the show, and they've been like, oh, yeah, I'll watch it. I got a thing. Right now, but I'll watch it later.
I did log in because I feel like I always do that. Like I always forget that when there's a live event. So I made it a point to log into Casey and Sam watching that when you guys did that watch along the other day, and I was like, I literally have like 20 minutes, but I'm gonna do it. So
I usually try and pop in at one point. I didn't make it to this last one, but I usually just pop in and I'm like, hey, I'm here, I gotta go, but just wanted to see, and then I gotta go.
Don't worry, Andy and Charlie. When Charlie left that one, no one was watching, so me and Sam were barely watching the movie.
I had a lot of fun just making witty comments the whole time, which is
that's all that is.
Yeah, it was great. I think we're gonna get more of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I missed the cutoff. Pro Wrestling Tees was doing a Dancing Sammy t-shirt for Sammy's charity, and I missed the cutoff to buy one, which makes me sad that I did, because I had taken advantage of their promo code prior to that, and then that one came around, and I was like, damn it, because that was a Dancing Sammy is my favorite version of Sami thus far. So him just being a cocky douchebag and dancing over Kevin Owens at the last SmackDown is like, I need more of that. I need more of that in wrestling right now. All right, moving on. Sheamus versus Riddle, I thought was a great match. Seeing
I think
that
I missed
was awesome.
And I was going to say, I think I missed the ending. I think I had started watching it and then like my phone cut out or something. I don't know what happened, but I missed the ending, and then I came back and saw that Sheamus had won, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a fun ending. Like Riddle does a backflip off like the second rope and catches a bro kick right in the face.
Nice. Nice.
Yep, midair. And he caught it like a real bro kick. Like his mouth was like gushing blood. That's a legitimate tough guy. I mean, I can talk shit about Riddle for him being like I'm not a big fan of what they're doing with him, but I really enjoy him as a professional wrestler. I really enjoy what he puts together in the ring. I will always say that. I can't get behind this like millennial stoner character. Yeah, and the fact that he's a face. I think like if you're gonna go with the original bro, you're a heel. But that's just my opinion. Any additional thoughts on Sheamus versus Riddle?
I got nothing.
Yeah, it was a good match. I really like Riddle. Everybody else hates him, but I get it. I get why people hate him. I like him, and Sheamus is always like gonna deliver. Like he's just a constant dude in the ring. From what I've been looking at, like some of the stuff they've been doing on Raw with Riddle now, it sounds like him and Randy are starting a thing together, which I'm like, all right, that's interesting. Like a tag team together is what I've been hearing. RK Bro, I think definitely needs to be the name.
And they're I think this is gonna be Vince, I think, sees something in Riddle, and I know that Randy has even said things that he really likes Riddle's work in the ring. I think they see kind of a future big money star in him, and I think they're using that, which it is correct. I will give shit to that gimmick for the rest of my life, but he is a future star.
What they got to do is have him and Randy team up until Randy gets pissed off at this young stoner, punts him in the face. And then Riddle forgets that he's a stoner after that, and no more birds fly out of his feet.
Oh, boy.
Entrance. I can't do that. I can't do that entrance.
So if they believe in Riddle so much, will this eventually lead to exactly what I want to see, which is Riddle and Goldberg, so that Riddle can retire this man?
Okay, so Riddle, when he was on the indie scene, he said his goal is to be Brock Lesnar's retirement match.
Oh, okay.
Now, when Riddle debuted and then went into the Rumble, Riddle was waiting at the entrance for Lesnar because he hadn't met him yet.
Oh.
He was waiting at the entrance because Riddle was going to go out, but Lesnar had already been eliminated. Lesnar, the story goes, Lesnar walked up to him with Paul Heyman at his side and said, "I know who you are, and it's never going to happen." So, I mean, are we going to get good business out of this? But anyway, I think let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with this push.
We need to get Brock Goldberg number 3 at WrestleMania, and Riddle, Daniel Bryan's his way into a triple threat and pins both of them Roman Reigns style.
Stack them, pin them.
Bro. Man. I can't wait to talk about that ending. Apollo versus Big E.
That's right.
For the Intercontinental title. Apollo with his now existent accent, which somehow feels racist to me. I don't know why.
Kofi lost his, so Apollo could find his.
It's true.
Yeah. What was Apollo's name in the Indies? Was it? Oh my gosh, that's right, Uha Nation.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it very reminiscent of what his character was on the Indies,
sure,
which is awesome. But I don't remember him having an accent.
Yeah, I don't recall. I don't recall.
Yeah, because I remember when he made his debut, and then he got quickly put on the main roster. Like, I think he was at NXT for 6 months. And then he got put onto the main roster. I mean, why wouldn't you? That dude looks like $1 trillion. He wrestles like $1 billion, or yeah.
But just never got that push. Never really found that groove until now. I think they finally kind of see it, and they're like, let's see what we can do with him. Sure, they're saddling him with this uncomfortable character gimmick. But I think that he has the talent to try and like burst out of it to become something. So here's hoping at least.
What was the gimmick of this match again?
It was what was it called again?
Nigerian drum match?
That's right.
A Nigerian drum match.
And no drums were used at all.
Yeah, all I wanted, what I was really hoping is that they would like remove the ropes, and then it would be like round fighting. they drum during the fight, which would have been awesome.
Yeah,
but I'm glad Apollo went over, only for the fact that I think that this is I know that they're continuing the story, but I think that this is a ploy to get that title off of Big E in order to build him toward bigger things.
Sure.
I would love to see Cesaro with the title, but I don't necessarily know if he needs it right now. I think Big E getting the title within the next year would be a great moment. SummerSlam or WrestleMania after. I think the Rumble win is the best way to do it, but I think
I put money on him winning the Rumble and taking on I don't know whoever has the belt at that point, but
it would be really cool. It might be fun to see him and Lashley go at it.
Yeah,
I mean, him and Lashley for the title, and then Lesnar comes back and keep the title on Drew. I say keep the title on Roman for another year. And then you've got Roman versus heel Roman versus face Lesnar for the heart of Paul Heyman.
With the custody of Paul Heyman on the line.
With the custody of Paul Heyman on the line.
Pole match.
Paul Heyman's in it, right above the right.
My client will get me down from here.
And I want Paul Heyman to fall, and then the entire crowd just EC dub.
They all throw chairs on top of Paul.
So I'm happy that he went over. I felt like both guys benefited from this match, which was great. And then, but
that should have been the opening match of the night, in my opinion. Should have opened with.
Did you think so? I just
Randy and Bray. Don't do that. That was a sour taste in your mouth right away.
It did. That's yeah. I mean, the idea of it was a great way to open. Like
I would have swapped. I would have swapped the two spots here and had the wet fart of Bray and Randy be right before the main event.
Well, that would have gone on right before Rhea and Asuka.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And who also had a great match, and then come the next day, the the piped in applaud of the return of Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair is probably the most incredible athlete in all of wrestling right now. And I am completely bored by her.
Here's my thing with Charlotte is she is we talked about this. She's probably, if not the greatest women's wrestler ever, she's top 3. But with that being said, she doesn't need the title then. She doesn't need to be near the title. Build a storyline around Charlotte without the title because she can.
Well, they were.
The Lacey storyline.
Yeah,
she didn't need it. And that was the hottest women's storyline at that time. And then one of them had to get pregnant.
I'm gonna be dead. I'm gonna be dead. Woo! Woo! I'm gonna be dead. And then the next week, you're not gonna be a dad. Go away. Okay. And then he leaves.
All right.
So, woo! 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 Fucking Flair. God,
he's the best. He's the best.
I know.
Oh
man, he has crazy old man energy now, though. I mean, it's like, he's had crazy man energy for so long that now it's crazy old man energy. Like, what is this crazy old man gonna do? I'm a man dad. Ha! Ha! Woo! Rhea versus Asuka was so good.
Was it
so good? So much fun. Exactly what I expected. They went out there, they hit each other hard. Asuka, I wasn't expecting. I shouldn't say that. I don't know where Rhea would have gone if she would have gotten another WrestleMania loss. So
she needed to win. It was make or break time for her. And it feels like WWE has always had like Asuka as the champion, but never puts her as the face of that division when she is the champion, if that makes any sense. Like it's always like someone chasing her to be the top person. Like always it's Charlotte or now Rhea or any other time she's had the title. It's always someone else chasing after her to be the face of the division.
I think that's what makes Asuka so great though, is that she can be the champion and it's legitimate at all times. Like
she feels like the Randy Orton of the women's division.
Yes, that's a really good way to put it. I don't think that's insulting either.
Slide in and out of the title division and title shots, and it makes sense every single time.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I think people chasing Asuka with her reputation of being unstoppable, and on top of that, when she was chasing the title against Charlotte, and then they put Charlotte over, like that really pissed me off. It was like you guys made her this unstoppable female monster in NXT. She didn't lose a match for, I can forget what it was. It was like 500 and some days. She didn't lose a match. I saw Asuka at an NXT show go up against Sonya Deville in one of Sonya's very first matches, and they tore the house down. The two of them, it just tore the house down. It was a house show, so it wasn't like it wasn't this huge build up to story, but with that reputation of being unbeatable, and then on top of that, her being the one to take the spot from Becky when Becky had to step away, up to WrestleMania, and then Rhea being the one to dethrone her. That was a cool moment.
Yeah, so keep building Rhea Ripley as the big heel of Raw, and build Bianca as the big baby face of SmackDown. They're the next
25 years old. Like, she's going to be there forever. So just take your time with Rhea.
She also had my favorite entrance of WrestleMania weekend too. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Bad Bunny was mine. Nothing beats a semi. Nothing. Now that semi would have been
nothing beats a semi on the cock.
Yeah.
This isn't a PG podcast. I can say whatever.
I've dropped like 9 F-bombs. I hope Brian's watching this with his kids.
Yeah.
He's not even watching right now.
I was gonna say.
But great match. Okay, my number 2 match of the weekend was the second main event, though. I think this was your number 1 for Andy. Andy, I want to give you the spotlight to watch this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm the wrong person to have the spotlight and anything wrestling related, but that's okay. So for me, this was the kind of culmination of these storylines. You've got this legend who has returned, who has just had this incredible comeback in Edge, who is hell-bent on reclaiming his seat of prominence. And he is going up against who has become the best heel in the game right now, and that is the dominating, all-powerful head of the table, Roman Reigns. And these two are on a collision course to destroy each other here at WrestleMania. But then you have the one who wants to just steal the show, do what he has done once before, the yes man himself, Daniel Bryan, who could be the huge spoiler of this whole thing for both men. So you get a triple threat match at WrestleMania in one that seems to really make sense. Like it's purposeful. Mm-hmm. You're tying up the loose ends on all of these stories. And the way they went about the storytelling in this match was just fantastic, because you can see what they are all fighting for. Every moment of this match, it is like the stakes are there, and they are all fighting for that championship. Now, it's not just the championship, it's bragging rights. It's being able to prove your worth. And if these two men, if Daniel Bryan and Edge have to go out because of this match, they've both had these neck injuries that put their career on hold for, Edge for a very, very long time. And Daniel Bryan, he didn't think he would wrestle again. And so now they are here.
I'm going to pause you. Roman Reigns didn't think he was going to wrestle again either.
And Roman Reigns, right, exactly, with leukemia.
He had leukemia. So
yeah. So, I mean, you've got all three of these stories who they could have been done coming at it to really fight. And if any of them had to put it away after this match, they at least were all leaving it there in the ring. So it's a constant back and forth and back and forth. And then you're getting down to the very end, and the heels are going to heel, like right when he is close to being done. Oh, first we'll talk about that moment. So he is in like a hold. I can't remember if it was like if Edge had him in a hold first.
Edge had him in a crossface.
Yeah, Edge had him in the crossface, and you can see him fading. And he's like got him in this move for so long with the chair, the bar of the chair in his mouth.
I loved the facial reactions from Roman too. Just like him, like cross-eyed looking at the bar was such a great visual. Like this was money moments right here.
Right?
Like it right there is the snapshot of WrestleMania, is the two of them headbutting each other with Roman Reigns staring down at the bar.
And then Daniel Bryan jumps in and puts the yes lock on Roman on the other side. So you've got these two guys like trying to be the one who makes Roman submit, and in the end they've got to fight each other, and that gives Roman the opportunity, of course, to recover. But heel's gonna heel because he's got Jey Uso to come in and handle some of his dirty work as well, and kind of thins him out. And then, of course, Roman lays it down, and he doesn't just pin one. Nay, he grabs the other guy, stacks him on top, and pins them both. 1, 2, 3. That is a fucking move. You are solidifying that you are the badass, that you are the head of the table. Like if there is a heel move that says, look, here I am, I'm the bad guy, that is it. I was like watching that ending, I was like, yes.
Well, he had the two guys, the two best guys to work with to be able to pull that off with too. Because Edge and Daniel Bryan love professional wrestling. Like these two are you can't make any bones about it. These two are born to do this, and they're willing to do whatever they need to further everything that's going on. So what do you need to do? We need to, the two of them need to come together. We need to make this guy look like the most unstoppable badass. Who's he going to pin? Who means more? Well, what if he pins both of us?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And the thing about it too is it's like both Edge and Daniel Bryan they are, of course, concerned about their own image, who they present as, what they present themselves to be as badasses, but they are also so concerned about the business. They want to tell the best story, make it everything click, like you said, make everything click the way it's supposed to. And, Daniel Bryan, especially recently, Edge has been gone for a long time, so it's easy to forget that he would put people over when they needed to be put over. But, recently Daniel Bryan and Kofi at Kofi Mania, Daniel Bryan's like, yeah, I'm going to make this show rock. And that's what he did. And here, same thing. The best way to sell this story is just to let this happen and let this badass put us both down. Yeah, I love this match. I thought this match was so much fun. And that ending for me was just, wrap it up.
What a good impassioned way to talk about that too. Thank you, Andy. Casey, what are you thinking about this?
The only thing that would have made it better is if Rikishi drove in and hit one of the Daniel Bryan or Edge with his car and said he did it for Roman. And that's it. No, this match had the best build going into WrestleMania. I think it had the best storyline. This one felt like a WrestleMania storyline going into it. And all three guys going into this just top level. Edge, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, they all look like the peak of their professional levels. Like Edge hasn't missed a beat since he, retired 10 years ago. No, and he looks like he's in the best shape of his life right now, 10 years removed from the business. And Daniel Bryan is still the ultimate underdog. And I think that's a perfect person to throw into this. Well, Edge is kind of still doing a little bit of a tweener thing because he's not full babyface, but yet he's still not going full heel. He's just being Edge again, which is nice to have around. And Roman Reigns, like Andy said, he's the biggest badass in the world right now. As far as wrestlers go, he's the ultimate heel right now, and his teeth terrify me. His in-ring maneuver, like his in-ring ability, has improved so much in the last decade since he's been around, and I think him as they terrify me. It's the scariest part of his gimmick is his new teeth. And again, these are three of the best wrestlers in the world right now, delivering at the highest level possible. And this is a statement right here. You don't even see Brock Lesnar pinning two guys in a triple threat at the same time. Like Brock is, or Roman is just cementing that he is the guy right now. And I think this is what Vince has been waiting for. It was just a matter of Vince didn't realize he needed another Rock instead of another Stone Cold.
Instead of another John Cena.
Or another John Cena.
Yeah. Great way to put that. Yeah. I think also like this is a moment for Roman Reigns that now it not only justifies him, he didn't need it, the justification. He's been on fucking fire since he turned heel. But this is a justification that makes every moment that he's had prior to this look even cooler. Like him going up against Brock now in the annals of history. When you watched it at the time, when he went up against Brock, he was the underdog. We will now look at that going forward as, I got to go back and watch that match. And him going up against Triple H, same thing. These different moments. I think it adds a little another tick mark to how cool his prior moments are now, because now we're seeing like what we've kind of wanted from Roman for a long time. Because I remember listening to Lance Storm talk about when Brock and Roman were going to go against each other. And I wasn't quite sold on the match. I was excited that we were going to get somebody new and it was different, but that was about the only thing that was exciting me. Then I heard Lance Storm say on somebody's podcast, like, that match is going to steal the show. and it was Jericho's. It was Jericho's. And Jericho goes, what do you mean? And he goes, because it's Brock Lesnar, who is this super athlete in his own right, and this beast, this everything that you would ever want in a professional wrestler is Brock Lesnar going up against a Samoan. And I remember hearing that and I'm being like, oh yeah, these two are just gonna beat the fucking shit out of each other, Japanese wrestling style. Like these two are, yeah. Now I'm excited. Thanks, Uncle Lance. And so I think this adds more to Roman's lore, if you will. I am excited to see. It looks like they're gonna do a story where they're gonna get Bryan onto Raw. Raw desperately needs somebody like a Daniel Bryan right now, which is the right move. And then they're going to move on to Cesaro versus Roman, which is going to be awesome. And I completely I really want to see Daniel Bryan go up against Lashley too, because with the technical wrestling versus the anomaly that is Lashley, that's a good way to build him up too. So a lot of things coming out of that. I think we've kind of wrapped it up. What else did you guys have to say about WrestleMania?
It's a shame WWE isn't capitalizing on it, because it was the best 2 nights that they had in over a year, and I mean, for most wrestling fans, this felt like, oh yes, fans are back. We have people we want as champions again. Everything is kind of feeling right in the world, and then the night after Raw happened, and there was back to the same old. It was back to basics.
Yeah, just sounded like a very disappointing Raw to follow up WrestleMania. And yeah, because this is where I didn't watch Raw. I read the kind of rundown of the show afterwards, and I was like, this was the Raw after WrestleMania. That's sad.
I did like the return of the Viking Raiders. I will say that I really like them as a tag team. Them being gone, one of them had a baby, I think is what happened.
With
Sarah Logan.
Yep. And that's also, we're again going back to Ring of Honor, that we'll consistently bring up. I loved those guys as War Machine in Ring of Honor. Like when they would come out and just all intensity, and you just get the War Machine. Like I wish that they would just be called fucking War Machine, and we can chant that again. God damn it, Vince! But
you don't want to chant Viking. Oh, I guess Viking Raiders. I guess you can chant.
I mean, but it's the same chant. It's not the like, but the
Viking
4-syllable
Raiders.
Yeah, that's what it would sound like. Yeah.
And then you get the clap. I mean, it's the same as the "You Deserve It," Daniel Bryan. It's all the same. Like instead of getting the people beating up against the side, just War Machine. Like that's the chant you want. That's how you get everybody in. But apparently, war is a bad thing, and Vince says, I don't know.
I already won the war. Damn it!
There's no such thing as machines in my company. I'm the only machine. I'm a virile son of a bitch.
That's the only thing keeping me alive is machines.
They said, "Do you want a pig heart, Vince?" I said, "Yeah, give me 2." And that's how they're keeping him alive.
Can I share a Vince story that I heard on Jericho's podcast really quickly?
Yes, please.
Okay. So they were on some trip that they were on, and Jericho was flying back, and he was flying with Vince, and they were up all night listening to like Rolling Stones and AC/DC and drinking together all night. And it's about 5 o'clock when they finally land wherever they're at, and Vince says to Jericho, "Whoa, what are you doing, buddy?" Jericho's like, "Well, I'm going to bed. Like we're toasted. Like I have to be up in 2 hours to go do press in the morning, so I'm going to try to get some sleep." "Well, I have to be up in an hour to do press. You want to go hit the gym?" Jericho's like, "No, like I'm wasted off my ass and I need to get up in 2 hours. I'm going to bed." So Jericho says he goes back to his hotel, falls asleep for a couple hours, wakes up to a text from Vince, and it's just Vince posing in a mirror, and all it says is Vince 1, Jericho 0.
Didn't he tell that story on the Austin one?
It might have been. I don't remember. Yeah. But, such a great story, though.
Overall, I had a great experience with WrestleMania. Couple of things that I didn't like, but I want to ask a quick question before we close out for you guys. I know we're just over that 2-hour mark that we always shoot for, but do you think WrestleMania should stay a 2-night event?
Yes,
I think so, for the reason that 6 hours or longer is just too much. Like, you remember that WrestleMania? I think it was just before, like maybe it was 2019, where it just felt like,
was it the one with Roman and Undertaker?
Oh, yeah. Where it just like, it was an all-day thing, and you get partway through it and you're like, good God, I don't care. Like, I don't care about this anymore. So you're going to lose everybody. And like, while spreading it out over 2 nights is a lot, I think if you shape it the right way, have the right matches at the right times with the right people driving the car, I think you're going to be a lot better. I don't know as far as like, if you buy a ticket to WrestleMania, this is something that doesn't affect me at all, because let's face it, I'm never going to be able to be at a WrestleMania live. But the people that are there, if you buy a ticket for WrestleMania, is that your ticket for both nights, or can you only buy?
You have to buy them individually.
Oh.
But I want to bring that up as positive though as well, because there are going to be those hardcore fans who buy tickets for both.
Sure.
And I think they can sell a big arena for both nights, but there's going to be about, I'd say 35 to 40% of the crowd that won't. That brings in a new energy the second night. And now they're going to choose the night that they can go to, and they're going to want to be at that show. So I think I'm also for the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Yeah. And if they don't, I think we need to cut WrestleMania down to 1 night and it's 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, we can't do this 6 hour, with a 2-hour pre-show every year. And it's too much. I mean, the Roman Undertaker matches is evidence of that, because nobody was into that match, and they were tired by the time they got to the ring, and the crowd wasn't feeling it. So therefore, these guys weren't able to draw that adrenaline the way that they wanted to. It doesn't line up. So I am all for 2 nights of WrestleMania. I am all for Sasha Banks main eventing both nights next year, because the woman is a goddamn boss. And
winning both nights finally.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, she proved that. I think she proved a lot of people wrong, to the point of, it should have been, she should have been that first main event at WrestleMania. Becky deserved the big win, because she's arguably the biggest draw in a decade. But that's, Sasha proved her.
Let's just do Sasha Becky next year then. Let's have that close it. Why not?
I vote we have Sasha Becky next year as well. I'm all for that.
I wasn't sold on 2 nights right away when I first heard about it, because I was kind of classic, like WrestleMania. It's one big night. It's a big extravaganza. And then first night of WrestleMania this year, I'm like, thank God this is only 3 hours tonight. Yeah. I can't sit here for another 3 hours and watch more wrestling.
And each night felt
just draining out of you.
Yeah. Each night felt important. I felt like I was energized. I mean, not so much the second night, because we saw the spread. But I'm really convinced that we need to
carbs.
Yeah, exactly. There were legitimately Tums in the kitchen that whole weekend, because I'm 33 and I can have one piece of chicken before my chest is on fire. But I'm all for it too. We'll have to see what they do. I hope this isn't an opening for them to do a 2-night SummerSlam in the future, because I think we just do a 2-night event. SummerSlam is a big
special
4-hour event. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I liked the full week of stuff. I really did, because I'm a nerd. But thumbs up on WrestleMania. You guys feel the same way this year?
Yep.
Good. Awesome. Well, we'll come back in a month-ish, and we'll talk about this again. Coming soon.
BurritoMania Backlash.
BurritoMania Backlash will be coming up.
BurritoMania Backwash?
Yes. I think we're going to have to talk about
BurritoMania Heartburn?
I think next month we are definitely going to have to talk about Kenny Omega being the belt collector and see where that goes. Because it looks like they're finally opening up the floodgates for that story to continue happening. We didn't talk a whole lot of AEW, but they're doing some good stuff. The Blood and Guts match is coming up. So I think we're going to have some really cool stuff coming up. For those who don't know about the Blood and Guts match, it's basically a War Games match on AEW. So
have you heard what they're doing for that too? It's going to be a normal, Dynamite, but that's the only match of the night.
That's the only
2-hour show is just the Blood and Guts. Like they're going to have promos and hype packages for it, and then it's going to be like an hour for the match.
Oh,
yep.
Is it? So for War Games, is it the 3 rings?
The 2 rings.
2 rings.
3 rings was World War II or World War II.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
But they're going to do the 2 rings and the cage around it.
Nice.
So, and they're actually putting the top on the cage from the sound of it too. So this is going to be old school beat 'em up Road Warriors versus Horsemen style. This is going to be fun. So
baby, that's the kind of thing I like, baby.
Let's how they like to have the cage match. Let's not just have a cage match. Let's have a 2-ring cage match, baby. And then it's gonna be me and the Road Warriors. We're gonna take on them Ole brothers and that Flair guy.
I don't need those horsemen, daddy.
But I'm very excited about that. I think we've got some cool things coming out of Impact. And I think Ring of Honor is going to start touring again, too. I'm going to try and catch us up on some Ring of Honor here and some of the cool stuff that they're doing. But that'll come up next month. Make sure to follow Casey. Go ahead and plug your social media.
Yeah, go check it out. Backlot 605, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. That's where you can find us. That's it.
And Andy, do you want to talk about what we're going to be doing here in about 2 weeks?
So, on my podcast, Fat Dude Digs Flicks, where we talk very calmly about the motion picture industry and the films that matter. So in a couple of weeks, I will be finally coming upon my 100th episode under the Fat Dude Digs Flicks banner. If you go and you check the feed, you'll scroll back and you'll be like, why does this start on episode 20? You're not really at episode 100. And I'll be like, look, I am. Those episodes have been lost. They're gone. There are 20 episodes that a server switch was not able to save. So they exist. You just gotta deal with it. You just gotta deal with it. But I do have over 100 episodes on the feed. They're just not all under the Let's Talk About banner. Anyway, episode 100, I'm gonna be the guest, where the host of that episode will be none other than it's Charlie time, Charlie Eccles, and I am going to make Charlie Eccles watch Babe Pig in the City, and we will talk about Babe Pig in the City and talk about me for my 100th episode. Before we get there, today's episode was Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon featuring Andre Handy.
Big shout out to Andre. He's a buddy. Yep. He's a friend of the show. So
it was a ton of fun getting to talk to him.
Guy that looks like a professional wrestler,
right? He looks like a professional Lord. Wrestler. I was like, I don't want to just
humble guy ever too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was like, I don't want to just cut his head off for the album art. Let me just put his body, put that whole man on the album art. And be like, yeah, sure. He's Tamok. He's the main character. He's Bruce Leroy. Nope. Andre.
I watched that man plank for 5.5 minutes straight once.
Yeah. Andre could eat Tamak, except Andre has a very strict nutritious diet when he's preparing for a show. So, so Andre's episode was this week. Next week will be Kevin Kelly talking about the Steven Spielberg classic Hook. Even though we all love Hook, it's not looked upon as Spielberg's classic. And then it'll be time. I forget
that Spielberg did that one.
Yeah. And then it'll be time for me and Charlie. And then I'm taking a goddamn break.
The episode that shall be dubbed Andy, This Is Your Life.
Oh, Andy, This Is Your Life. I'm very excited to do that. I've gotten verbal or written permission via text message from Andy that we will go as long as Andy wants to go, and I can also ask Andy any question that I want to ask him.
No question is off limits.
No question is off limits. And my goal with this is that I said this at the beginning when I told Andy this was my idea and I pitched it to him. I want everyone to get to know Andy and why he is as awesome as we all think he is. So make sure to listen to that. So anyway. And then my name is Charlie Eccles. Again, I said it at the beginning of the show. I am back into commentary, trained by Nick Eugene Dinsmore. You can check me out. We have Midwest All-Pro coming up this week on Friday at the brand new Midwest All-Pro Training Center in Harrisburg, South Dakota. Casey, Andy, if you guys are free, it's $5. Our new training center is legit. You need to come out and see it. We have it all lighted up and everything. It's legit, and you guys should come out and see it. $5 for this weekend show. May 8th, I will also be at Midwest All Pro at Big's Bar, and I'm working on a couple of other things. I'm going to be up in Duluth later this year, but I just talked to an old friend, and we'll see what happens with that. So I'm pretty excited about that one. Got a big hug and a big welcome back from a friend. Just got to make sure it's going to be cool with everybody involved. So I don't want to give away too much of that, but I am very, very excited and humbled. I bawled my eyes out when I got home. When I got that, I'm happy to be back with wrestling, guys. God, I love this shit. But thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will not check my Facebook. You can try to friend me. I will not check my Facebook because it's the devil. And book me, damn it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. We will see you in a month-ish.
Yeah.
Acknowledge me.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Oh, wait. Vader time. Frankie Stachino's dad. Dancing Vader. I should have gotten us all this sticker.
Yeah, could have had matching stickers, Charlie.
We could have. We should just have Burritos and Bodyslams stickers. Sticker Mule. We should just get together on Sticker Mule. Let's do this.